Hello and welcome to Storyboard. I am Anuradha Sengupta. Top story this week looks at new developments at the Indian Premier League. Last week, the BCCI terminated the Hyderabad team Deccan Chargers after the cash-strapped Deccan Chronicle Holdings failed to make payments, including player salaries. This comes after the media house failed to find a suitable buyer for the team it had bought in 2008 for $107 million. The Deccan Chargers follows the Kochi Tuskers in being booted out of the IPL. Rajasthan Royals and Kings 11 Punjab had also had their contracts terminated, but continue to play thanks to a court order in their favour. On the sponsor front, DLF has not renewed its contract with the IPL. As it starts readying itself for the 6th season, Animesh Das finds out if the IPL is in good shape.
That's powered away. It's the Chargers. Who will lift the trophy? They've come from number 8 to number 1.
The team that was the Indian Premier League champion in 2009 is fighting for survival. After its owner Deccan Chronicle Holdings failed to approve a buyer, the BCCI terminated the Deccan Chargers franchise on September 14th. DCHL, which has an $800 million debt, failed to make any payments to the BCCI, including the $7 to $8 million owed to its players. The termination has been challenged in the Mumbai High Court, and a decision is likely on September 24th. The only offer for the Chargers, a $166 million offer from film and real estate firm PVP Ventures.
Strong local presence and a strong connect with the local community is important for that franchise and for the community over there to develop that sense of belonging. And we being based in Hyderabad and for Deccan Chargers, we strongly believe that we will be able to develop that sense of belonging. And we are going to be a focused business house. We don't have our fingers in 10 different pies.
DCHL lenders, which includes ICICI Bank and Yes Bank, have offered to manage the team, but the BCCI will have to wait till after the court's ruling to evaluate this option. The IPL debuted in 2008 with 8 teams, each bought for anything between $67 million, that was for the Rajasthan Royals, to the $124 million Reliance Industries paid for the Mumbai Indians. The league added 2 new teams in 2011, the $370 million worth Sahara Pune Warriors and the $333 million worth Kochi Tuskers, which was booted by the BCCI after it failed to make the annual league payments for 2012. With only 4 teams, the Mumbai Indians, the Chennai Super Kings, the Rajasthan Royals and the Kolkata Knight Riders breaking even in the 5 years of the IPL, serious doubts have been raised regarding the financial sustainability of an IPL franchise.
At the end of the day, the ROI factor does not live, hasn't lived up to its expectations in all the seasons, which is quite evident with Deccan Chargers situation and so many other teams. Even Punjab, Kings 11 is not in a healthy wicket and so on and so forth. So which is evident that the financial model per se is not working. Having said that, when you say an important point that how are 4 or 5 teams surviving and why are they fine with it? Because the objectives of those owners and promoters are radically different from a direct ROI situation for a possible investor who's coming into the business of cricket and hoping to get good returns in 5 years or 10 years. So what was really projected 5 years ago when this league started, it hasn't lived up to its promise in terms of the return on investment.
But this hasn't stopped the BCCI. It remains adamant about introducing a new team for Season 6 and has shortlisted 10 cities: Ahmedabad, Visakhapatnam, Dharamsala, Indore, Jamshedpur, Nagpur, Cuttack, Kanpur, Rajkot and Ranchi as likely hosts. Interestingly, the intended base price is now only 300 crore rupees for 5 years, much lower than the 1000 crore rupees set for the Pune and Kochi teams created in 2010. But experts say the task for finding a buyer will be much tougher. The financial state of some of the teams and the charges of cronyism and corruption haven't helped business. Valuation firm Brand has lowered the IPL's estimated value 29% over the last 2 years, from $4.1 billion in 2010 to $2.9 billion in 2012.
Even when the macroeconomic environment is coming under pressure, does it make sense to continue investing into a property? I would sense that the Deccan Chargers is an example where people might not want to invest into that property, and therefore BCCI might need to go and recast or recreate another club. But if the overall dynamics of the ecosystem does not get flushed out, I think we will see repeat stories of the same in the future. So the real question is, do we want to learn the lessons and fix the system, or rather shove all of it under the carpet and behave as if nothing is fundamentally wrong?
Meanwhile, the BCCI also has another problem to deal with. Its 5-year contract with existing tournament sponsors DLF, Vodafone, Hero MotoCorp and Pepsi came to an end in July. And DLF has already decided not to renew the 5-year-long 250 crore rupee sponsorship. Though the BCCI says that it is negotiating with the other sponsors, it has yet to announce a bid to get a new title sponsor in place. Sponsors naturally are fighting tooth and nail to get the maximum bang for the buck, citing falling television viewership, which declined 29% from 2010 to 2012 to get a better deal.
If you look at the format per se, I think a 8-team 60-game format works very well in terms of ratings. And we've seen that, when we had the 8-team 60-game format, the ratings were high. And if you see, when we've increased the number of teams, the ratings have come down in the last 2 seasons. And that's mainly because once you have 9 or 10 teams, the number of afternoon games naturally increase because the window is still the same. So from our perspective, the ideal would be 8 teams and 60 games. But like I said, it's not within our control. These are not decisions we can take.
With endorsements and advertising revenue struggling and player costs and taxes on the rise, it appears that the Deccan Chargers' struggles are just another piece of the IPL's growing mess. In Mumbai, Animesh Das.
New cities on the BCCI's list include Tier 2 cities, including Dharamsala and Nagpur. That brings us to our ad meter poll. Does the IPL need more teams representing more cities? Tell us what you think. Log on to our Facebook page now and have your say. Now we'll take a quick break. Media. See you same time, same place next week.